started the live broadcast, so we're actually in the group broadcasting as far as I know. Um, and you wanted to talk about the topic, last I remember, if I can recall correctly, it was on the topic of self, and particularly because I had a psychology bachelor's degree. And but you wanted me to type it in text, and it's one of those topics that are so huge. And I'm talking about, I do interdisciplinary approach, which when I said I use everything, I literally use everything I've ever experienced in my life to come to form my philosophical ideas. And so it's like I can't really root the answer in psychology, because then I'm going to be pulling from anecdotal evidence, literature, all kinds of things that are just really interdisciplinary. And it's really unorthodox as far as academic philosophy is concerned. Well, academic anything. They're not a big fan of that.
I'm not one for sticking to academic routes anyway myself, so
right. And of course, as what do you call those things? A disclaimer, I guess, or a qualifier. My way I speak and the words I use, it changes in relationship to whoever I'm talking to. So I'm aware socially. I'm socially aware that I'm going to be putting myself out there with some ideas that are really not socially acceptable, but I'm doing that. And a lot of times I'm framing the way I use my language in relationship to the person I'm in conversation with. And I can switch from theological to psychological to philosophical. But for you, I was thinking, you said that, do you mind me using any personal information? Or do you
no, feel free.
All right. You did say that you had what you believe to be Asperger's, and for that, I can just peel away so much social norm content to my language, and really get to some topics that are usually more uncomfortable for people to speak of, to speak about or talk in conversation, and those topics shouldn't bother you emotionally, and so I can use language. And I can speak of things in such a way that it's not going to offend you. Now, I'm taking a risk here live broadcasting this because, there's the chance that somebody's going to be...
But that's my favorite introduction I've ever had. You might have seen this next comedian on the David Letterman show. But I believe more people have seen me at the store. And that would be a better introduction. You might have seen this next comedian at the store. And people would say, hell yes, I have. I opened up a yogurt, and underneath the lid, it said, please try again. They were having a contest I was unaware of. But I thought I might have opened the yogurt wrong.
Yes, So we're going to talk about the self. Do you want a starting point? Want to get started on where we want to talk?
I suppose what I've been doing recently is trying to break it down into, being a bit reductionist, I suppose, trying to get it down into categories. So, there's the more materialistic side of the self in the sense of the body and the brain, but then there's the data that sit within the brain and categories of that. I mean, the data isn't just enough to explain the self. I mean, there's awareness and perception and so on and so forth. So, there's a lot, as you say, there's a lot to it. I'm just trying to get to a point where I could.
Yeah, see, one of these things, the challenge is going to be, this topic is going to be so dependent on your personal perspective. And I hate to say that. Because there's this misconception among many people that everything's relative and everything's subjective. And that's a true statement, literally, in a lot of metaphysics, but it doesn't mean the same thing that they're talking about when they say it. And how do you correct someone who's using the correct words, but the wrong concepts? It's really a challenge. So for me personally, I can't make sense of starting in a reductionist perspective for self. I have to go a gestalt, a whole. And when I go a whole, it's everywhere, and it's really rooted in Taoist metaphysics, the Tao, as a manifestation. So the conditions, and it's a biopsychosocial in psychology is one of the theories there that I really enjoy for self. But self, there's not in my opinion, in my beliefs, there's not this thing that's either in the realms or in the material. It's an interaction. It's a dynamic.
Yeah, it's the force as such.
Right. Which explains for me is like when I'm interacting with you, I am literally, according to Taoist metaphysics, a different person than I am without you.
Yeah, sure.
You add someone else into the mix. We start talking. If my daughter walks down the stairs, suddenly 3 people. I'm now shaped new language, new attitude, new personality according to the new people involved. We act differently for strangers as we do intimates. That's a lot of what the Taoism is talking about with relativity in Taoist principles and concepts. And that's a huge root there for how I see self. So what you're going to see is, I do believe self, identity, exists. I use the word identity. That's what I really prefer. Actually, the word